Hey, what's up, YouTubers? Today I want to talk to you about every father's dream. My two boys are old enough to start driving RC cars. And I'm not talking about the little toy Lego ones or the ones that only turn in reverse. I'm talking about getting an actual RC. When I was a kid, that was one of my favorite things to do, and you can probably tell I'm at the age where the big RC when I first started was the Radio Shack, ran off of 4C batteries, four-wheel drive pickup that was slow, but very easy to control, impossible to break, lasted forever. So when I look at RCs now, I see all of these really fancy looking, and that started later as I got older, even as still a kid. They're just not kid appropriate. Something like this that I drive at the track, although this is a rather old model now, will run 30 miles an hour out of the box. For a kid just learning, that's guaranteed that they're going to wreck it and break it, and they're not going to enjoy it if they can't control it. They can't really learn how to use it. So I really wanted something slow, and I look at the local stores and I don't find much. So on Amazon, great reviews. It's the Danchee Trail Hunter rock crawler. I've already had it out, tested it. It's slow, which is perfect actually. They're 5 and 7. We've got two, one for each of them. Seems to have enough power for its size to get over almost anything. There are some things I don't like about it. It does have the high-end Model RC type thin plastic, Lexan or polycarbonate body. I wish it were thicker. Probably would hold up better. But that should be easy to replace if they're available, or they can simply run without it. It runs on 6 AA batteries in the truck and 4 in the controller. They do sell a rechargeable battery pack for it. It's nickel metal hydride, comes pre-packaged. There's directions in it, plugs into a mini Tamiya plug, I believe. But when I look at it, it's 20 bucks and it's only an 800 milliamp hour. Whereas if I look at any of the rechargeable, whether it's Amazon Basics or whether I go to the Sanyo Loop or even the Duracells, this is a 2.2 amp hour. This one's only a 2. Okay, so some of the Sanyos are a 2.2. The Amazon Premiums, I believe, are a 2.2. They effectively end up being cheaper, much more powerful, and the upside is I can use them for other things later, whether that's a different RC or maybe a camera, TV remotes, who knows, who cares, but I think it's a much better value skipping that battery pack. So what I'll do, I'll throw some batteries in these. I'll take a quick video showing you here, going over some stuff, get an idea of the speed. Again, I think this is so much better, the starter RC, than these fancy, fast-moving, difficult to control. They're either going to get bored with it, or they're going to wreck it and break it, or both. And then what's the point? This is something we want to get them started with so that they really start enjoying things. If we really want to look at it, it's a very simple chassis setup. And sometimes that simplicity is a good thing on something like this. Very, very basic chassis. Got a couple of dog bones here that locate it, and then these, I won't even call them shocks or struts, they're just springs. Definitely works well enough. 2-wheel steering in the front, seems to work very well. It is a digital radio, so none of the old days if there's 2 frequencies and you're either 27 or 49 megahertz, or if you went to the track you had to swap crystals. It's digital, it actually encodes the signal. When you turn it on, they pair up. There's going to be no interference. It does have a braking assist where it won't drift to a stop. It will actually use the motors to stop right there. That's a switch you can turn on and off here. It's got digital steering trim here instead of the old lever underneath. Whether or not for a beginner something moving this slow, whether or not that's needed, maybe not, but it is there. So I'll get some batteries thrown in. We'll see if we can harass the cat, or no bigger than this thing is and as slow as it moves, the cat may actually come attack it and beat it up, or he may jump in my lap here. Do you want to come look? Okay, well, let's see. Are you going to come look at this RC? Yep. Pretty soon I think you might be trying to take a bite out of it. We're going to find out. So I got to thinking about it and thought maybe I should show how easy it is to pop 6 batteries into here. There's no 9 volts, there's no separate battery for the receiver. Negative on the spring, of course, like anything else where you put AA batteries in there. It's got a relatively simple, relatively easy to operate retainer there that twists, and it's got a couple of little nubs that catch there, and that really should work sufficiently. Important putting the battery back on because it does look the same front and back. The tie rod or steering linkage is simply fixed in the rear since there's no servo to turn it, so make sure you have the front to the front. For now I'm going to simply pop the body on. I'm not going to put the pins back in because I am going to take the batteries back out and put this back in the box to wait until Christmas. On the remote, 4 batteries, so we're looking at 10 AA batteries total. And again, that's a whole lot better than, say, going with a 9 volt. Those are much more expensive, even in the rechargeables if you do go that route, and they're really just not that common anymore. So, we're going to flip the power switch back here, flip it on. Power switch up underneath. It's a little hard to get your finger in there, probably perfect for a kid, but a little tough for me. We're here to initialize. And we have function. And we have function. We have function. Okay, so now we need to go find something to test this with. So as you can tell, we do have kids, as I mentioned, and the house is quite a mess. I did find a binder, looks like full of Pokemon cards, and that'll work pretty well just to show you what this thing will do. So we can see our steering there. Alright, let's go. It is digital proportional throttle as well, so I can go real slow. But that's as fast as it goes. And that's plenty fast. For their age, one thing I almost don't like about it is your first hit of the reverse function or reverse throttle actually doesn't do anything. It actually stops it and you have to release and hit again to go. That's set up more like track racing RC cars than the standard toy grade. You know, this is more of a hobby grade type setup. Why they did it that way, I'm not entirely sure. It works, but it may be somewhat difficult for a small kid to master that idea of reverse. Seems like the youngest one still has a hard time handling the idea of reverse on his Power Wheels. So we'll see. But certainly more than enough power. Fast enough for them to start with. It looks cool, so that's always another plus for kids. If it doesn't look cool, they're not going to know what to make of it. And there we see the cat. Really doesn't seem to be too interested. Curious, playful, yes. Will he pounce? Will he pounce? It would appear not. So, again, this is the Danchee Trail Hunter Rock Crawler on Amazon. I believe it's $35, $39. So, very affordable. I think a little more speed and controllability wise, a little better than anything you're going to find in the store. Perfect for Christmas for a beginner. I could even enjoy it myself. It probably wouldn't be my first choice at my age and my level, but I think absolutely perfect for their level. So again, thanks for watching, and maybe we'll post some videos of how they enjoyed driving them together.